You're hunched over your desk at 2 a.m., fingers flying across the keyboard, sweat beading on your forehead because you know this project could change everything. Your heart's pounding with that electric mix of exhaustion and hope, the kind that whispers, "This is it. This promotion's yours." You've poured 2 years of your soul into this company, skipped birthdays, ignored the ache in your back from endless hours, and then nothing. No email, no pat on the back, just silence, crickets in your inbox. Your boss, this slick, smirking shark of a man, promised you the stars. "Alex," he says, leaning back in his leather chair like he owns the air you breathe. "You're my guy. VP spot's waiting." But weeks turn to months, and poof, it's handed to some outsider with a fancy degree and 0 scars from the trenches. He doesn't even have the guts to tell you. He ghosts you, like your yesterday's coffee stain. My blood boiled that day, listeners. Not the hot, fleeting kind. No, this was ice in my veins. A slow-burning fury that clawed at my chest, making every breath feel like swallowing glass. But here's the twist that kept me up for nights, plotting in the dark. 3 years later, I didn't just walk away. I erased him, ghosted his entire career, watched it crumble from my penthouse view while my empire rose from the ashes. And oh, the satisfaction. It tasted like the sweetest revenge wine, aged to perfection. Stick around, because this one's gonna hit you right in that raw spot where betrayal stings and justice finally sings. If you've ever stared at your phone, waiting for that callback that never comes, the job offer, the apology, the anything, and felt that hollow punch to the gut, this story's for you. It's raw, it's real, and it's the kind of payback that makes you fist pump the air. So, if you're ready to feel seen, to taste a little vicarious victory, smash that like button right now. Hit subscribe and ring the bell, because we're diving deep into the revenge tales that remind us. Sometimes, the best response to being invisible is making them disappear. Let's get into it. Let's rewind to the beginning, because to understand the fire that fueled this blaze, you have to feel the chill of the setup. Picture a gleaming tech startup in the heart of Silicon Valley. Or at least, that's what they called it back in 2018. "Innovate or die," the posters screamed from every wall, all sleek fonts and motivational quotes from dead philosophers. The air hummed with the constant click-clack of keyboards, the hiss of overpriced espresso machines, and that undercurrent of desperation you only smell in places where dreams come cheap, but reality bites hard. I was 28 then, fresh out of a nowhere college with a comp sci degree that felt more like a participation trophy than a golden ticket. But I hustled. God, did I hustle. Landed this gig at Next Tech Solutions as a junior developer, the kind of role where you're invisible until you're indispensable. My cubicle was a fortress of energy drink cans and scribbled whiteboards, equations tangled like veins across the surface. Late nights blurred into early mornings. I'd catch the first BART train home just as the sun clawed its way over the Bay Bridge. My eyelids heavy as lead, but my mind racing with code that worked. It fixed bugs others had poked at for weeks. It streamlined the user interface so smoothly. Clients started name-dropping my fixes in meetings like I was some underground legend. And him? The boss, Victor Hargrove. Oh, where to even start with that snake? Tall, mid-40s, with a jawline sharpened by too many gym selfies, and a smile that never reached his eyes, those cold, calculating chips of flint. He wore tailored suits that screamed, "I summer in the Hamptons," even though we all knew he crashed on his ex's couch after the divorce. Charming on the surface, sure, the type who'd clap you on the back after stealing your idea in a pitch meeting. But underneath, pure venom. He'd breeze through the floor like a king surveying peasants, barking orders with that faux avuncular tone. "Team, let's crush this quarter," while pocketing the bonuses we'd bled for. Our relationship? It started solid, or so I thought. First 6 months, he'd pull me into his glass-walled office, all that ego-reflecting transparency, and lean forward, elbows on the desk, voice dropping low like we were conspirators. "Kid," he'd say, eyes locking mine with feigned intensity, "you've got the spark. Keep this up, and I'll make sure you climb. Fast." My chest would swell then, that warm rush of validation flooding my veins, making the all-nighters feel like investments in my future, not his. I'd nod, throat tight, muttering, "Thanks, Victor." means a lot. And I'd dive back in, heart hammering with purpose, fingers blurring over keys until the code sang. But promises in tech? They're as solid as vaporware. By month 18, the whispers started. Layoffs loomed like storm clouds over the valley. Competitors were snapping up talent left and right. I doubled down. Led the overhaul on our flagship app, the one handling client data for Fortune 500s. Nights bled into weekends. My apartment gathered dust, takeout boxes stacking like accusations on the counter. My reflection in the microwave door showed hollow cheeks, eyes ringed with shadows. But damn if it didn't feel worth it. The app launched flawlessly. Metrics skyrocketed. Emails from higher-ups trickled in. Impressive work. Alex. Even the CEO name dropped me in an all-hands. Our dev team's killing it. Special shout-out to the ground crew. That's when I mustered the nerve. Heart slamming against my ribs like a trapped bird, I scheduled the sit-down. His office smelled of sandalwood cologne and stale ambition, the kind that clings to your skin long after you leave. I perched on the edge of the guest chair, palms slick against my slacks, rehearsing the words in my head. Professional, confident, earned. Victor, I started, voice steadier than I felt. The app's numbers are through the roof. Clients are raving. I was hoping we could talk about that VP track you mentioned. I'm ready. He didn't even look up from his screen at first, just scrolled, thumb tapping idly like I was background noise. Then slowly, that smile crept across his face. Not warm, no. Predatory. He swiveled, chair creaking like old bones, and fixed me with a gaze that pinned me in place. VP, Alex, buddy. A chuckle, low and oily, slithered out. Look, you're solid. Real solid. But we've got opportunities. Bigger fish. You understand. No apology. No next time. Just deflection, wrapped in that patronizing patter. My stomach twisted, a cold knot uncoiling low, bile rising sharp in my throat. I forced a nod, mumbled something about got it, and slunk out, the door clicking shut behind me like a guillotine. The ghosting hit harder than the words. Days stretched into weeks, radio silence on follow-ups, my emails vanishing into the void. I'd refresh my inbox every hour, that ping of hope dying with each empty load. Then, the announcement email. Company-wide blast, all confetti emojis and fanfare. Thrilled to welcome Elena Voss as our new VP of Engineering. With 15 years at Google and a Wharton MBA, Elena brings... My vision blurred. Hot tears pricking unbidden as I scanned her LinkedIn later that night. Curled on my threadbare couch, bottle of cheap bourbon warming my hand. No trenches for her, no 2 a.m. fixes, just pedigree. And him? Victor, grinning in the photo op, arms slung around her like they'd been soulmates all along. Betrayal doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It seeps in, slow and insidious, like damp rot in the walls. At first, it was numbness. Going through motions, code compiling, but my mind fracturing. Colleagues noticed, shooting sidelong glances. You okay, man? I'd force a grin, teeth gritted. Yeah, just grinding. But inside, a storm raged. How dare he? The question looped, venomous. My fist clenching around my coffee mug until the ceramic bit into my palms. Nights. I'd pace my tiny studio, the city lights mocking me through rain-streaked windows, replaying his chuckle like a cursed track. Powerlessness clawed deepest, that suffocating weight of being small, unseen, disposable. I'd stare at my ceiling cracks, mapping them like battle lines, whispering to the dark, "This isn't over. You don't get to erase me." His bad behavior didn't stop at indifference. It escalated, like he sensed the wound and twisted the knife for sport. Mornings, he'd saunter by my desk, dropping casual bombs. Heard Elena's shaking things up. Fresh eyes, you know. A wink, as if we shared some inside joke about my irrelevance. Meetings turned into his personal stage. He'd parrot my suggestions, my code tweaks from late-night Slack threads, as his vision, basking in nods while I sat there, jaw locked, nails digging crescents into my thighs. Once, during a client demo, the app glitched, a minor hiccup I'd flagged weeks prior, buried under his optimizations. Chaos erupted, voices overlapping, screens freezing. He rounded on me post-call, door slammed shut, face inches from mine, spittle flecking my cheek. "What the hell, Alex? You trying to tank us?" My pulse thundered, cheeks burning, but I swallowed the retort. You ignored my warning. You hack, and muttered, "On it." Walked out with legs like jelly, slamming into the bathroom stall, dry heaving over the sink as rage boiled over. Who does he think he is, God? The frustration built like pressure in a fault line, cracks spiderwebbing through my days. Friends drifted. "You're obsessed, dude." But how could I explain? It wasn't just the job. It was the theft of me. The kid who'd clawed from foster homes to code boot camps, who'd promised himself no one would make him small again. Disrespect festered into something primal, a growl low in my gut urging fight. Underestimation? Fuel. Every smirk from him, every bypassed email, stoked it hotter. I'd lie awake, heart racing, imagining scenarios. Not violent, no, but surgical. What if I walked? The thought terrified and thrilled, a forbidden spark. Powerlessness? It choked me. Nights dissolving into sobs I muffled in my pillow. But beneath it, a whisper grew. Justice. Validation. Yours to take. The turning point crashed in like a wave on a crumbling cliff, unannounced, irreversible. It was a Thursday, rain lashing the office windows like accusations, thunder rumbling distant threats. I'd stayed late again, tweaking Elena's innovations. Ironic, since half were my old fixes, rebranded. Footsteps echoed down the hall. I glanced up, expecting a janitor. No, him. Victor. Tie loosened, scotch glass in hand. Company policy be damned. He paused in my doorway, swaying slightly, that flint gaze softening to something almost pitying. "Still here, Alex? Burning the midnight oil for the team?" A belch, poorly masked as a laugh. Then, the kicker. He plopped on my desk edge, knocking over my mug, coffee spilling dark and accusing across blueprints. "Listen," he slurred, breath sour. You're good. But this game's cutthroat. Sometimes you gotta know when to fold." His hand clamped my shoulder, heavy, patronizing. "Stick around. Learn from the pros." Time fractured. The touch burned through my shirt like acid. My skin crawled, every nerve screaming, "Get off." Internal scream, "Pros? You're a fraud. Riding coattails while I build the plane." Vision tunneled. His blurred face, the spill spreading like blood. Something snapped, not loud, but seismic. I shrugged him off, chair scraping back sharp as a blade. Stood, chest heaving, voice low and steady for the first time in months. "Fold? Nah, Victor, I'm all in." Didn't wait for his blink of confusion. Grabbed my jacket, laptop under arm, and walked. The door to the parking lot whooshed open to sheets of rain. I stood there, soaked in seconds, chest cracking open. Not with grief, but resolve. Cold water streamed down my face, mingling with hot tears of fury, but my fists unclenched. This ends now, on my terms. That night, in my apartment, lights off, city neon bleeding through blinds like war paint, I planned. Not rash, calculated, poured over NDAs in the glow of my screen. Heart steady now, a drumbeat of determination. The app? My baby core IP I'd coded from scratch. Company owned the shell, but the algorithms, those were mine, etched in late-night journals, unfiled. A loophole, slim as a razor, but there. What if I forked it? The thought ignited, fear twisting with exhilaration, palms damp, but mind razor-sharp. Calls to old contacts, a venture buddy from college, voice crackling over late-night Zoom. "Dude, you're serious?" My laugh, brittle but real, dead serious. "Watch me." Sleepless hours blurred. Code forked in shadows, servers spun up on cheap cloud credits. By dawn, a skeleton site pulsed. Apex Dynamics, reimagined solutions. My name, bold at the top. No ghosting here, just rebirth. Execution unfolded like a heist in slow motion, tension coiling tighter with each step. Short breaths in the quiet of my new co-working space, a dingy loft with exposed brick and the tang of fresh paint masking old desperation. First, the poach. Discreet LinkedIn messages to my old team. Not all, just the loyal ones. The ones who'd shot me those worried glances. Coffee? We'd say neutral as fog. Over lattes in corner cafes, steam curling like secrets. I'd lean in, voice hushed. "You deserve better." Real credit. Real equity. Eyes lit. Sarah, the QA lead, her fingers twisting her napkin, whispering, "He's toxic." I'm in. One by one, they trickled. 5, then 10. Resignations hit HR like a barrage. Notes polite but pointed. Seeking growth opportunities. Victor's empire wobbled. Projects stalled. Bugs festered. I'd catch whispers on freelance gigs. Next-tech's bleeding talent. And smile into my coffee, that dark thrill uncoiling in my gut. Pacing quickened as funding chased us. Pitch decks flew from my fingertips, nights blurring in the loft's harsh fluorescence, takeout wrappers crunching underfoot. Investors bit. Not big fish at first, but angels with hunches. This algo, one grizzled VC murmured over steak, knife pausing mid-cut. It's elegant, revolutionary. My nod, throat tight. It's mine. Seed round closed at 2 a.m., confetti emojis pinging my phone as I collapsed on a beanbag, chest heaving with exhausted triumph. Fear nipped. What if it flops? What if he sues? But determination drowned it, a roar in my ears. No more small. No more ghosts. Months compressed into a whirlwind. Office hunt in Soma, all glass and ambition. Hires from rivals, their handshakes firm, eyes gleaming with shared rebellion. The product? Apex's platform. My forked heart, polished to diamond. Beta tests soared. Clients, his clients, started defecting, lured by emails I crafted like arrows. Seamless migration. Zero downtime. Built by the originals. One call sealed it. Megacorp's CTO, voice booming over speaker. Your demo blew us away. Ditch the middleman. We're in for $5 million. My team erupted, high fives echoing off walls. I leaned back, pulse thundering, a grin splitting my face for the first time in years. It's working. He's feeling it. Sensory snapshots etched the build. The sizzle of street tacos at 1 a.m. team huddles, laughter cutting the code's sterile hum, the leather creak of my first real desk chair, molding to me like armor, the electric buzz of a Series A wire hitting the account, $12 million and digits blurring on the screen as my breath hitched, hands trembling. Internally, monologues warred. This for you, kid from the group home. This for every ignored email. Fears surfaced in quiet moments, mirror stares, whispering imposter. But I'd clench my jaw, echo Victor's old line twisted. Cutthroat? Watch me thrive. By year 2, Apex wasn't a startup. It was a force. Valuations climbed, 50 mil, then 80, headlines in TechCrunch. The ghost of Next Tech rises. I'd skim them in hotel lobbies during roadshows, coffee bitter on my tongue, that old knot in my stomach twisting to glee. Victor, crumbs. His company hemorrhaged, stock dips, boardroom purges. Whispers reached me via mutuals, Hargroves scrambling, lost 3 majors to some upstart. I'd sip my drink, slow, savoring the irony like aged scotch. Upstart? That's me, you hack. The apex, pun intended, hit on a crisp October morning in 2021, fog blanketing the valley like a conspirator's cloak. My phone buzzed at 6:47 a.m., shattering the rare silence of my loft, now a sunlit expanse of whiteboards and ambition. Unknown number, but the area code screamed Valley. I answered, voice gravel from sleep. Alex Reed. A pause. Then a voice I hadn't heard in years, his lawyer, all polished legalese. Mr. Reed, regarding Nextech's acquisition interest. Acquisition. The word hung, electric, my heart slamming into overdrive. They'd come crawling. Not begging, not yet, but close. Board had ousted half the execs. Victor clung by threads, his vision exposed as vapor. My apex? Valued at 99 million post-round, clients flocking like moths to flame. I dressed deliberate. Crisp button-down, no tie, power in the casual. And drove, wipers slicing fog, palms slick on the wheel. Internal churn, stay cool, make him squirm. The Nextech tower loomed, same glass facade, but now it mocked him, reflections of my rising sun. Conference room, sterile chrome, stale donuts on a side table, air thick with defeat. They filed in, suits rumpled, eyes darting. And there at the head, Victor. Gaunt, cheeks hollowed, that jawline softened to jowl. No smirk today, just a twitch at his mouth, fingers drumming the table like Morse for mercy. Our eyes locked, his widening flint cracking to panic. Alex, he rasped, standing too quick, chair scraping shrill. Didn't expect... Good to see you. Lie dripped like oil. His hand extended, but I let it hang, air thickening. Sat opposite, legs crossed, voice ice. Let's cut the nostalgia, Victor. What's the offer? Negotiations dragged. 2 hours of posturing. Numbers tossed like grenades. 75 mil they started. I countered 120, watching his Adam's apple bob, sweat beating at his temples. That's highway robbery, he snapped midway, leaning forward, veins bulging in his neck. After everything we've built? We? The gall ignited me. I met his glare, slow smile curling. Not kind, triumphant. Built? You mean I built. The app you ghosted me on. Forked and perfected while you played king. Room froze. His lawyer coughed, but Victor flushed crimson, fists balling white-knuckled. You little, this is betrayal. NDA violations theft. I laughed, low and cutting, leaning in mirror to his old lean. Theft? Try inspiration. You taught me well, cutthroat, remember? Tension peaked as terms finalized. 99 mil my price, with clauses gutting his role. Demotion to consultant. Golden parachute popped. Signing, pen scratched like claws. His hand shook on the dotted line, ink smearing slight. Then, the bomb, my addendum, slipped in legal fog. All execs report to Apex integration team. Effective immediately. His eyes scanned, face draining to ash. What? No, this sidelines me! Voice cracked, rising to a wail that echoed off glass. He surged up, chair toppling with a crash, pointing a trembling finger. You planned this! You spiteful... Security loomed at the door. I rose calm, buttoning my jacket, voice velvet over steel. Spiteful? Nah, just even. Walked out to his sputters. Alex, we can talk, please. A door sealing his pleas like a tomb. Outside, fog lifting to blue sky, I exhaled, years' weight sloughing off, chest expanding free. Elation crashed. Knees weak, I braced the car hood, laughter bubbling raw, tears streaking hot. Done. Validated. Victorious. His career? Ghosted. Faded to footnote in my press release. Nextech joins Apex under new leadership. Headlines screamed it days later. His LinkedIn went dark, whispers of breakdowns in bars. Me? Empire solidified, team toast clinking crystal, but the real payoff? That quiet morning after, mirror reflection. Eyes bright, no shadows. I did it. For me. In the end, karma isn't some cosmic boomerang. It's what you forge in the forge of your own fire. This wasn't about destruction, it was reclamation. A reminder, when they ghost you, don't fade. Haunt. Hugh, if that didn't leave you with chills and a grin, check your pulse. Hit that like if Victor got what he deserved, drop a comment. What's your ultimate ghosting comeback? The revenge that still makes you smirk? Subscribe bell on. More tales of triumph over trash coming your way. Thanks for riding this roller coaster. Catch you in the next one. Peace.